Hi everyone, Rachel Walker here, and this is my first screencast. I really like using this software, and I'm considering using this as a part of my final project. So any feedback you have on how I can make this screencast better, I would love to hear it. Looking forward to your comments and your awesome project ideas. Okay, so I developed my project idea by thinking about what kind of training I wished I had access to as a classroom teacher. I decided on parent communication because it's not something we received a lot of training on. One of the big breakdowns was sharing assessment data. Benchmarks just had no meaning to parents. They were too full of jargon and abbreviations to be truly accessible. I really feel like I missed out on investing my parents as a part of a team working together to help students achieve more. So I want this training to be able to be used in a one-to-one setting, like, for example, here. Oops. Let me try that again. There we go. Here as a parent-teacher conference, or in a large group setting, like a parent event or a parent night where many parents will be there and all be experiencing the training together. I'm going to be focusing on elementary and middle school reading assessments because that's what I'm most familiar with. For example, the DRA would be a good one. A reading assessment that gives a grade level as an indicator of success is my main focus. The goals for my project are threefold. I'm going to be using an online training model. I'll probably use either a whiteboard animation software or partially this Screencast-O-Matic type software. I have emotional, social goals, cognitive goals, and behavioral goals. So my emotional goals are investment. So I want my parents to feel invested in being a parent reader, and I want them to feel invested in the bond between parent, teacher, and student. So I want them to feel like they're able to cooperate with us to help their kids succeed. Mental, I want them to be able to understand this well enough to explain it to a child or another parent, the assessment data. And behavioral, I want them to understand what actions to take now that they understand and care about the data so that we can see student achievement increase. So as you can tell from the goals, I'm not really looking for a behaviorist model here. I prefer nonlinear models of instructional design that incorporate a lot of opportunities to evaluate and change the model as the project progresses. So I picked the backwards planning model and the Kemp model. I feel like these both align with cognitivism pretty strongly. They value the mental process over the behavior. They focus on long-term memory storage, not necessarily a stimulus-reaction relationship. So let's start with the backwards planning model. Components you can see are right there. I felt like the major assertion of this model was it's not about what you want to teach, it's about what they need to learn, which I felt like really valued my stakeholders as parents and kept the focus on them. Why I was drawn to this model? Well, frankly, I have a lot of experience with it. As a Teach for America alumni, I did a lot of backwards planning training, so I'm really familiar with it, and I think it will be familiar to the teachers as they're giving this training as well. So that, I think, is a big plus. The Kemp model I'm not as familiar with, but I really like that it's nonlinear and that it incorporates evaluation throughout the whole process. You can see the components right here. I'm not going to go over them because there's 9 and that's a lot, but there are plenty of opportunities for evaluation and changing. And they both backwards planning and the Kemp model focus on resources and assessment, which I think are important. Most school districts, when you do a parent-teacher conference or a parent training, they want to understand, okay, what are parents going to get out of this? So having an assessment piece in the training is going to be really important so the teachers can show administration, look, this is what parents got out of it, and we're seeing these kind of improvements, etc., etc. I thought this quote from the resources that Dr. Trey gave us online was really helpful. The model is particularly useful for developing instructional programs that blend technology, pedagogy, and content to deliver effective, inclusive, and efficient learning. That sounds like exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm not really sure which model I'm going to go with, but those were my 2 choices. I hope you enjoyed my screencast.